Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of eHeroes. Today I'm bringing back Manuj Aggarwal. Now, we last saw him on episode, I think it was 67, and we talked about relentless growth. But today we're going to talk about Fortune 500 and Manuj's kind of journey from a $2 a day to the boardrooms of Fortune 500. So, welcome back, Manuj, and
Thank you
thanks for
so much.
being here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I really loved our conversation in the past, and we've had a lot of fun on Facebook, exchanging some fun gifs. So I hope this one is going to be as fun, as much fun.
Yeah, and I even mentioned you in my last book, Rob versus
Yeah,
Humanity.
yeah,
So it's
yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, yeah. I thought you were kidding, but you actually mentioned me in the book. That was
yeah,
amazing. Thank you so
I
much.
don't change names.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I have to be very careful with you.
Yeah, I mean, I could if you wanted me to. I can go back and change it to like Bob or Bill or,
Yeah,
but
that'll do.
everybody knows you, so I figure what, give you credit where credit is due, and you're a very smart person, and I think that a lot of entrepreneurs need to know who you are, and that's why we're doing a second interview because
Awesome, awesome.
you're the things that you have shown me that you've done on LinkedIn and some of these other places just blow my mind. Um, you know, I, I I learned coding a long time ago,
Mhm.
and I still build. Our company still builds websites. But when I look at what you're doing, it just blows me away.
Awesome. Wow. Thank you so much. It's an honor to coming from you. I mean, I can't say I knew much about all this a few years ago, and I've learned a lot from you. I mean, it's just that's the key thing of this community where you learn, you share ideas, and you learn from each other, and that's the best way to grow.
Oh yeah, yeah. And sometimes we make fun of each other,
Yeah.
because I have this full set of hair, and you lost yours, but that's a story for another time.
No, 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 and we can talk about that. Like I think if I had hair like you, better off like this right now. So, so I think I'm okay there.
Well, this way it becomes your brand, your image, and people start to recognize who you are. I think
Yeah,
if you had hair now, nobody would know who you were.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so many people have hair these days. You gotta stand out.
Yeah, I can't stand out. It's
Yeah,
just there's another white guy with hair.
yeah, exactly.
Everybody.
I know.
So tell us about what you're doing on LinkedIn now, because for me, I had this love hate relationship with LinkedIn, and it just seems like 2 seconds after I connect with somebody, they're pitching me with something.
Yeah, yeah,
But you take it a different you have a different approach,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it seems to really benefit the people that you're working with.
yeah, yeah. So, the thing is, with me, it's always, I find it very hard to understand complex things, so I have to simplify them uh, to a degree where a third grade student first can understand, because I have that level of understanding generally. So when I looked at LinkedIn and I looked at what people were doing, it occurred to me that they're trying to reach mass audience and spam as many people as possible. LinkedIn, as you know, like it's one of the platforms where it has everything. It has people who are ready to do business. They have real business problems. They have the budgets. They have, I mean, anything that you can possibly look for in a prospect. LinkedIn has it. I mean, if you go to Instagram and Facebook or Twitter, it's a hit and miss. I mean, people are not on those platforms for business purposes, but for on LinkedIn, it's absolutely all business. And when I noticed most people want to automate things and send 1,000 messages, the idea behind that is, if you take 2% conversion, if I send 1,000 messages, I'll get 20 leads or what have you. But the problem, people didn't realize it, is that everybody else is sending all these automated messages which have no context whatsoever about who the prospect is. And so what happens is, 980 prospects get so pissed off they don't want to have anything to do with you.
Yeah.
So yes, those 20 leads may turn into some business, but what about those 980 that you pissed off? So when I looked at that, I said, okay, we really need to figure out how to reach out to these 1,000 but not spam them, not tick them off. Because even if not all 1,000 respond, maybe 500 will respond. Out of those 500, maybe still the active leads we get will be 20, but at least those 480 we have a ongoing conversation with them, and they may not be a prospect today, they may become a prospect down the road. Or if you have a good rapport built up, they may refer somebody else. So that approach, even though it takes a little bit longer, um, and it takes a little bit more hand holding for our team, our prospects, what have you, but it works really really well. And the fact is that the kind of people that we connect with, the kind of conversations we have, the kind of transactions we get into, that's not possible through automation. That's just simply the fact. And then the thing is, like as you mentioned, we do have a good expertise and experience in technology. So whatever we had to endure in terms of inefficiency for one-on-one conversations, by letting go of the automated spam, we make up for that in other ways. Like we have a tremendous platform which is capable of having these conversations at an unbelievable rate. Like we have like 200 300 conversations a day on one account every day without a problem.
Wow. I mean, it just seems like lately though, there's like one guy teaching all these people how to do it the wrong way,
Yeah,
and you get these same templates over and over, and you just want to scream, "Look at my freaking
yeah.
profile!"
Yeah.
But you're taking it a whole different way, and you're actually having conversations with people,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
which is the whole premise behind social media.
Exactly, exactly.
But it didn't start out this way. I mean, you're figuring all this out now, but you've always had that drive that kind of took you from India to the streets of India, making
Yeah.
$2 a day, to now working with these big companies, teaching them all this technology. But there was a middle part. How'd you get
Yeah, yeah.
from one to the other?
I mean, it's all about just as you said, like the drive to understand things. I mean, for me, it's more about understanding how things work, um, and the money and the success sort of is the byproduct of all that. And it's always like, okay, once you have crossed one certain threshold, now what is next? What do you want to learn next? And the bigger goal that you set for yourself, the bigger setbacks you're gonna have. So for me, it's always like, okay, things don't work. Why don't they work? Let's try to figure it out. Let's try to break it down into smaller components, and let's try to solve those problems. And as I told you, like I don't have a vast body of knowledge. So I have very thin knowledge about a lot of topics. And when I say, okay, this is where we need a little bit more depth, then I go look for that person who has the depth in that area. And then slowly you start to solve these problems. And and if you do it enough times, ultimately it starts to work. I mean, that's just the fact. The problem is that most people give up very early because it's very frustrating to figure these things out, right? And
Yeah,
so they
where
go with
they
the
where they go to Google, and
yeah,
then they make it worse because now they're looking at how 20 different people did the thing,
yeah, yeah,
and I would rather go to one expert that's actually doing it, getting results,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
learning from that person.
exactly. But the fact is, as you mentioned, Google, it's an information overload right now. And the way the whole thing internet is set up, the people who are successful, they are obviously going to be drowned by the noise of other 20 who are going to be making lots of noise, right? So that's just the nature of how things work. But I think it also has advantages, because then the people who are actually looking for good solutions, they have to do a little bit more work to find the right solution for that. So it works out.
So how do people find you? I mean, I know I found you from an event that we attended together,
Yeah, yeah,
and that was pretty amazing. But
yeah.
I mean, are people finding you through connections, or are they finding you through Facebook? Are you doing
Yeah.
this process for yourself on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so we, of course, when I started off, when we were looking at all this, I was, uh, again, this was a journey of trying to figure out what, like, we had the technology, we had the know-how, but to package it into a product or service, that again took several months. So first we tried to sell that as a product, and people couldn't really understand, what the benefit was. Then we tried to sell it as a service. Again, people couldn't really understand what we were trying to do. And then it occurred to me, like, why am I teaching these, I'm asking these people to trust me, and I'm not using it effectively for my own business. So we implemented that on my own business, got the results, showcased the results through, various podcasts, as you may have seen. We specifically picked the right guests on our podcast, and that's done through all this the same methodology that I'm describing, to demonstrate the fact that, in order to reach these people with, lots of discretionary powers, lots of budgets, uh, lots of challenges they are facing right now, right? Like, we talk to the C-suite of Fortune 500 on regular basis, and this is not possible through any other means, and we want to demonstrate that to others, and showcase it, the how it all works and what are the results.
Yeah, because honestly, I don't know if I'd have the time to sit in front of LinkedIn all day and have 200 conversations. To
Yeah.
me, that would just I wouldn't get anything done. So
So yeah, so um, we have an answer for that as well, because as you just rightly pointed out, entrepreneurs have a million things to do.
mhm,
And I joined several coaching programs where, they gave very fantastic information about how to move forward. But I realized that most people, they take that information and they go home, and then, life takes over again, and they don't get the results that they were looking for. So another component of what we do is, we say, okay, here is the information. If you want to use the information and get the results for yourself, but if you want us to do it for you, we can do that as well. So the service is set up in a way that, even if you don't want to even look at LinkedIn, or any of the social media platform, by the way, because our methodology works on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, Twitter, any platform basically. Um, and so what we do is we take over and we help you get the results that you want. So it's like a turnkey solution.
so not just LinkedIn, but the other networks as well. To me, I prefer Facebook. I prefer LinkedIn. I don't
Mhm.
care for Twitter.
Yeah,
Twitter
yeah,
to me is a chaos,
yeah,
and uh, Instagram to me it's just yeah. I mean, I teach all this stuff to my clients, but I also teach them focus on one or two networks that really benefit you the most, and not be everywhere to everyone.
exactly, exactly.
You know,
No,
so
I completely agree with that.
yeah. So for me to venture into something unknown like Instagram, you would really have to know more about me in order to post the different things that you do on Instagram.
Yeah, so I want to clarify a few things, right? One, I'm not talking about uh, posting the social post. That is obviously we can do that, but
Hmm.
that's not what I'm talking about. That I believe is like your showroom where you display your goods and you say, okay, come and talk to me if you are looking for something like this.
Right.
But when they notice what you have to offer, the actual transactional conversations that happen, they are in the private message area of the social platforms. So that's like, somebody walking into your showroom and you say, okay, come to the warehouse, I'll show you all the goods, and then we can make a deal. So so what we do is we manage the warehouse for you, and that also depends on what you're selling, right? So what we recommend is, if it's a B2B offer, then go to LinkedIn. If it's a more B2C offer, you're selling books or selling e-courses or what have you, then Facebook or Instagram will work better. Or if you're selling like consumer products, fashion, beauty, whatever, Instagram will be better. So it all depends on, as you said, like understanding you, your offer, understanding your audience, where they're more likely to be hanging out, and implementing that. And the platform is very flexible. That's why we come up with bespoke solutions, because we don't want to say, okay, this is the way for you. You have to tell us which way you want to go, and we facilitate that.
Yeah, I mean that to me is the best way. Um, you know, I don't like coming off as one of those. Hey, you want to buy a watch?
Yeah, yeah,
Where and you're trying to right off the bat trying to sell them something.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I want to build that relationship first, and then kind of ease into the conversation. Hey, this is what we can offer you.
Yeah.
But there's so many people out there that just jump right in and say, hey, buy my course, buy my book, dude, I don't even know you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly.
So your system is so much, I think, more beneficial for those that want I'm not saying a slower process, but a more even process where the relationship builds over time.
Yeah, actually, this is not slow at all. I mean, like we have been we work just yesterday. I was talking to an Australian client, and they were working on something similar, but they had all kinds of restrictions, like you must have 1,000 connections, or you must have all this. So for them, even to get the first lead, it's a minimum 3 month turnaround time. For us,
Wow.
we can do it in a week or so. Like if we get started today, leads start to come in a week. And the quality of the calls, like the quality of people you get to know, is exactly what you are looking for. It's one thing to say, you're getting 10 leads a month, but they're all people who either cannot afford your services, or their mindset is not compatible. I know that you are very particular about how what you suggest to your clients, and if they don't listen to you, that's your time wasted, their money wasted.
Mhm.
So we go down to the level of quality of the lead as well. So when they hop on the call, it's like you've already got the rapport, you already got a good understanding of what you have to offer. And generally these calls end on a very pleasant note. Even if the transaction doesn't happen, generally they say, okay, what can I do for you, who can I refer to the service. So that's a very pleasant conversation, as opposed to the um, traditional sales scripts that people use these days.
Yeah, I don't use a sales script, and I haven't for many, many years. I just found that they were ineffective
Mhm.
because everybody is unique, everybody is different.
Yeah.
So yours is a little bit, I think, better. But what prompted you to design something like this? Because there have been products like this in the past,
Mhm.
but none to this level.
Laziness. um, so as you said, like nobody has the time to sit in front of these social media platforms and message people. So I always try to say, okay, how can I save my time? And so that's where the automation comes in, where I say, okay, I don't want to. I don't want a negative experience. I do not want to pay the price of a negative experience for the prospect. Yet I want to automate everything else so that I can save my time. So that's
Mhm.
what prompted me. Again, it was a matter of discovery on how these things work and how to make it efficient, and then prototyping it. I it's like I have a lab where we run multiple experiments on multiple things. 99% of them is crap, as you know, and then 1% uh, starts to work, and then we start to improve things, and so on and so forth. Initially, I mean, it's just like any surprise invention that you may have heard of. So I knew I needed something to save my time. How I was going to get there, it was just like a matter of hit and trial, and something worked. I prototyped over. I remember during Christmas break, I went with my family to a ski resort. They were out skiing, and I was just trying out this coding in my hotel room, and it started working during Christmas season. I was like, okay, so this seems really good, and then it just sort of went from there.
Well, don't you find it kind of ironic though that you're working on a system, LinkedIn, in this instance, that is owned by Microsoft, and years ago you worked for Microsoft.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, what is there any correlation, any lessons that you learned at Microsoft that you've brought over
No,
to this?
no, no, not at all. Uh, I mean, Microsoft is a very. I had lots of fun working there. Even the fact is, I even talked to the VP of LinkedIn, and I showed the system to them, and they were like, they were quite surprised and pleased with it because the other thing is, like, a lot of automations, they try to hack into LinkedIn, and they are not in compliance with their terms of service. They don't. Um, LinkedIn doesn't appreciate you automating their platform and not having any human interaction. Um, but but in our case, it's actually in spirit of what LinkedIn wants, which is actual humans talking to each other.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we facilitate. And then the idea here is that as you know, I had lots of things to offer, but I didn't know how to package it, how to sell it, right? So this was a necessity for me as well to figure it out. And yeah, I found LinkedIn to be a really great tool. But the during this journey, what I found out was, you really have to talk to people, a lot of people. You have to really understand what their pain points are, and that's what gives you the ability to package the product in a way that will resonate. And now, when that happens, LinkedIn is just one avenue. As you are an expert in SEO, you are an expert in websites, you do a lot of other things. The idea is to get that attention, keep that attention, build the rapport, and present the solution. So in this case, LinkedIn is just one of the methods we use, but there are other ways we do that.
Yeah, and I like your method a little bit better because it has the human component. When I go to websites, yeah, and we build them, and even Facebook, they have the chat bots,
Yeah, yeah,
and chat bots are okay, but there's no human element. Everything is er, you know pre-coded,
yeah,
so your response is pre-coded,
yeah,
and
exactly.
you say I want option A or B or C, or I want this. Well, then it takes you to something that's already and you go through this
Yeah,
endless loop of not being able to speak to anybody.
yeah.
Whereas your system, you have the human interaction, and that brings a whole different element to the whole picture.
And it's highly scalable. It's like, as I said, like, I have 20,000 connections on my LinkedIn account, and we regularly talk to few thousand of them in a month. So if it's a large company and they have like several accounts, like, we could scale it up to uh, tens of thousands of leads. And it's mind blowing, even to me, like, how nicely it all works.
Wow. I mean, so where do they go? How do they get in contact with you and your team?
Yeah, you can connect with me on LinkedIn, or we have my website, tetranoodle.com. Some of the websites have very old content, which was pre-COVID things that I was doing. So some of the content needs to be updated. But yeah, I mean, I'm fairly reachable on LinkedIn. So
Yeah, I'll put your LinkedIn information down below. And for those on audio, if you're hearing this on the podcast instead of the video, um, let me find his LinkedIn, and I'll tell you it is. I don't know. So
well, my name is not very usual. My look is not very usual. So I think it'll be easy to find just by name.
so it's Manuj,
NUJ. Yeah,
Manuj,
yeah.
and let's see if I can find you. Uh, LinkedIn is not working at the moment.
All right.
It's giving me technical difficulties,
Or
but
user error, if I put it.
yeah, but you'll find him. I
Yeah.
mean, he's out there,
Yeah.
and or just type in, Manuj or Tetranoodle, you'll find him.
Or just Google my name, you can find it through that.
Yeah, just Google bald-headed guy. I'll do that.
Bald headed brown guy.
So, do you think that you'd be able to do this whole system the way you have it if you still were in India? Or do you think the opportunities presented itself so much so when you moved, over
Yeah, yeah.
in Canada?
Um, you know what? Like, when I think about it, um, it's very tricky. It's a very interesting question. I think about this a lot actually. When I was in India, whatever learnings I had to do there, I ignored it at that time. Like, I'm big into meditation. I'm big into yoga, and I
Mhm.
never paid attention to that in India. And when I came over to North America, I got into these things. When I hear about stories about you know um, Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs, I learned that they went to India to learn all these things before they started their company. So it's like if you are seeking some knowledge, um, you get there somehow. You will find it. So yes, of course, since I'm here, I'm seeing what problems people are facing here and how they're solving it. Uh, that being said, we do have clients in India as well
Mhm.
who are using the service, because at the end of the day, people are people everywhere. They want success. They want to feel good about the business they are doing. They want to feel good about the people they are doing business with. So that is universal and it applies everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I find I get usually inspired when I leave my comfort zone and I travel somewhere to meet people.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I meet them, firsthand. I get to know them, get inspired by what they're doing, and then I bring it back into my own company, my own bubble,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I start implement what I've learned. And you would never do that. You would never learn any of that by just staying in that comfort zone. So,
Yeah,
you know, all the big CEOs going to India to learn knowledge that you're like, wait a minute, I live here.
yeah,
Now I got to go out there to learn what they're learning. So,
yeah,
I think it's pretty funny.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I think traveling is the biggest thing. But we're still in this pandemic where it's countries are saying, hey, we don't want you coming here.
yeah.
So it's more of an internal thing where you're going to the next nearest city to see what you can do.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that's a, I mean, this whole experience is just, I guess, a small glimpse of what entrepreneurship is all about. Like, you never know what the heck is going to happen today, and you
Right.
just got to be ready to solve that problem on the flip of a coin.
Yeah, but I look at what you're doing, and you're constantly trying to solve problems that didn't exist a few weeks ago or even months ago, and you're taking it to the next level when you do it.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of entrepreneurs who will just give up. There's like, this pandemic, I can't do it. I don't know what to do.
you you're being too nice to me. People are going to think I paid you for this.
Well, you could. I don't mind.
All right, all right. Let's see how the whole interview goes, and then we can decide.
Yeah, it's almost over anyway. So, but anybody who wants to, pay me money, I will gladly take it. You know, or you could just send it to Manuj, and he'll send it back to me, and we'll
Yeah,
call it a
yeah.
day.
I'm an honest person with money. But the reason why I'm saying that is, Rob, because you're always so sarcastic about life, and I enjoy your sarcasm. And I was hoping that some of it will come out today.
Well, I could. I mean, eh, we still have a couple minutes left, but I can't be sarcastic all the time
Mm,
because people will get that impression that I'm a dick, and honestly, I can be, but I'm kind of what people consider the last Boy Scout.
mm,
I will do anything that I can to help you succeed,
yeah,
but I'm going to tell you how it is.
yeah,
And some people don't like that. They don't want that in your face. You know, they don't want to. They don't want to be told off.
yeah,
They want to be coddled. They want to feel safe in their little bubble. And to me, that's not how an entrepreneur should live.
yeah,
And they have to be challenged. And
yeah,
and for you take that challenge and you do something with it every single day. And that's
Yeah, I mean,
and that's why you're an e-hero, because I admire that.
yeah, it's the you have to put the insecurity aside and just sort of be ignorant a little bit to just get in there. But I mean, yeah, I mean, what the the advice you give is very solid. Like, the results you bring in, when we work together, like, uh, for a year or two, I was struggling with getting anything, and I think you got the results within a couple of weeks. It was amazing. So if people are not listening, I mean,
Yeah.
they're losing out for sure.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of people that will hire you for you just to do it,
Yeah, yeah,
but they don't listen. So
yeah,
when you're done, they're like, I really wasn't paying attention. Can you do it again? No, pay attention.
yeah, yeah.
You know, so I like your system because of the fact that you know you've tested it, you use it. There's a human element, and the results are proven. And a lot of people just can't say that. They'll say, well, you just got to automate everything. No, you don't have to automate everything, because we still have to have human communication. We still have to have that human element. And without that human element, there is no relationship.
Exactly. And particularly in these days, people are looking for connection. This is a totally new environment. Like, people have lots of time. They are working from home. They need that connection.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I ran into somebody the other day, and they're like, yeah, 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 I had this beautiful conversation with somebody, and I'm like, really? Was it online? Yeah.
Mhm.
How do you know it was them? Well, I really don't. And then
Yeah,
I just kind of killed their momentum. But having these Zoom meetings, having Skype or iMessage or you know FaceTime or whatever you want to do, you know, it gets us a little closer to that human connection.
exactly,
You
exactly.
know, I always surprise people when I send them a video.
Hmm.
You know, they're like, you just took the time to send me a 2-minute video versus a voice message or a text or an email. So we have
When
to
I'm going when I'm going to get one from you.
um,
That's all right.
soon.
Yeah, all right. Okay,
I'll send you this one when it's over,
sounds good.
and this will be like 30 minutes of us chatting, so you can listen to it again and
All right,
again and again.
cool. So when is your new book coming out now?
The Rob versus book 4 is in April of 2021. So,
My goodness.
and then book 5 will be a compilation of people's stories, and well, they're sarcastic stories. So
Uh,
we're putting it out there for other people to contribute to.
uh,
And in the meantime, I'm writing books for other people, which is a couple of them have to be out before my book 4. So I got to get going.
yeah. I think I should take on that industry next. How to write a book automatically.
Well, it's, and I'm going to give people the secret right now. You
Yeah,
know,
you do. Yeah, yeah.
take these videos that you're doing every single day,
Mm,
transcribe them, and that's half your book right there.
exactly. Yeah.
It's not a secret, or a lot of the long posts that you put out on Facebook every single day that you share with people,
Yeah, yeah.
recycle them into a book form.
That's what we do. Before the interview, we were talking about my articles on Medium. Actually, those were all webinars that
Hmm.
I had created, and I just took the webinar and converted into article, published it, and we reuse the content all the time. As you said, like videos into audio, into graphics, into text. So
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with recycling your content. And in fact, most people that see your stuff on Facebook don't remember it being there when they buy your book.
yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
you're giving out free stuff at first, and people are like, "Wow, this is great." And then you're assembling it into a book, selling it for $20. People are buying it and thinking that this is the next best thing to slice bread.
There you go. Yeah, you have your own system going.
Yeah.
Such a
So I
like
mean, we've produced 28 books so far. I'd say at least 6 of them are all recycled content, and I have more coming out down the road. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with recycling your content.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you do it, but that's the beauty of this community. We all have certain superpowers, and we can combine them and
Yeah.
become even bigger.
Oh yeah, and the world is getting smaller and smaller because, like you're in Canada, I'm in the United States. I have team members all over.
Yeah,
So anybody ever needs something that I can't do, I'm going to point them in the right direction, and that's what makes us, unique in what we do.
exactly, exactly.
So thank you, Manuj, and
Thank you
thank
so much.
everybody for listening and watching, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you so
Adios.
much.